Hello everyone, how are you today? I thought I'd do a Beatles trivia game and I'm going live on the live button. Let's see. There we go. I hope you can hear me. I got my mic on and I got some Beatles. He's trying to hog the camera. And my camera is turning. That's my son did that sculpture. My oldest son did that sculpture. And so we're going to try to do Beatles trivia and see how it goes. Okay, does anybody know who the Beatles were? I mean, most of the young kids probably, maybe. Well, I mean, they sell a lot of their t-shirts now still, like at Target and some other places. But the Beatles were an English rock band that were formed in Liverpool in the 1960s. And can you name the Beatles? The best way to remember, well, I mean, the Beatles were John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr, or drummer. But a good way to remember them, well, to remember their names is, "My George," said Paul, "John lost his Ringo." The Beatles became widely regarded as the foremost and most what of the rock ages, the most influential act. From 1960 to 1963, the Beatles, where did the Beatles build their reputation as a rock band? They played in clubs in Liverpool and Hamburg. During that period, who was the bass player for the Beatles? And it was Stuart Sutcliffe. The core of the Beatles, Lennon, McCartney, and Harrison, went through a succession of what? Succession of what? Well, they had a hard time with drummers. And they finally found one drummer. Can you name who it is? We said it a while ago, but their drummer was Ringo Starr. Ringo Starr. Okay, do you know who the manager of the Beatles was? Manager of the Beatles, his name was Brian Epstein, or Epstein. I believe it was Epstein, but they said Epstein. Well, some people say Epstein. And Epstein molded them into what kind of act? A professional act. And do you know who their producer was? Their producer was a gentleman by the name of George Martin. George Martin. And their first hit in the United Kingdom, can you name the song? The song, it was their first hit in the United Kingdom. It was "Love Me Do." Love Me Do. Do you know what it sounds like? I'm going to play, only so that way you can hear what it sounds like. It's because most people probably didn't have heard their songs. So we're going to play just a little bit and hope it's not a... Okay, we're going to stop it. I don't want to get in trouble. They say, hey, you played the song you don't own the rights to. Okay. All right. Do you know what the nickname of the Beatles were? What were they called? What were they called? They were called the Fab Four. The Fab Four. So if you hear somebody say the Fab Four, you know they're talking about the Beatles. Um, in what year did they release Love Me Do? Do you know what year it was? The year was 1962. And it, by the early 1964, they became what? They became international stars. And do you know when the Beatles broke up? That was one of the saddest days, I guess. The Beatles broke up in 1970. In 1970. Okay. And this was another sad period of our culture. What happened to John Lennon in December of 1980? In 1980, John Lennon was shot, killed. And what happened to George Harrison in November of 2001? He died of lung cancer. So right now there's only two Beatles left that are living, and that's Sir Paul McCartney, because he's a knight, and also Ringo Starr. The Beatles are the best-selling band in history with the estimated sales of how many records worldwide? And they sold over 600 million records. Man, that just, whoa. It's crazy, right? And now I'm seeing a lot of Beatles shirts, and I forgot to put my Beatles shirt on. I guess I should have changed it. But outside of the UK, the Beatles are also the best-selling music artist in what country? The United States, with over 178 million certified units. Ooh, that's a lot, right? In 2008, the group topped the Billboard magazine's list of what? The all-time most successful Hot 100 artists. Excuse me. How many Grammy Awards do you think the Beatles won? They won 10 Grammy Awards. And for what they won an Academy Award also, and they won it for the best original song score. When was the group inducted in the Hall of Fame? The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Beatles were inducted. And they were inducted in 1988. 1988. All four Beatles were inducted individually. From what year to what year did they were inducted individually? And it was from 1994 to 2015. 2015. Let's see. And what magazine were they collectively included in the completion of the 20th century's 100 most influential band or people, influential people, and the magazine was Time Magazine. Time Magazine. Well, thank you very much. That's the end of our Beatle trivia. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye, everyone. Let's see. Bye.